So I'm Michelle Katz. This is Stephanie Gitlin. We are the founders and co-hosts of the Cornell Thank You podcast. And we thank you for staying. We know it's been a long 2 days. I was a class of 1990 human ecology, human development, and family studies major. And Steph was?
Yes, I was class of 1990, College of Arts and Sciences, and I was a psychology major. And Michelle and I met in 1987.
Yeah.
Yep,
those are real perms.
Yes.
Yeah. And we met we lived on North Campus at a time when all the freshmen lived on West Campus. So we lived on North, we had lots of walks together from our dorms to our sorority house, and we always, looking back, we always had a lot of banter, we made a lot of predictions, a lot of lists of things. We were always kind of going back and forth with things which, now you could look back and kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together to say where we are.
Yeah.
But back then we had no idea.
Low in the back.
Yeah, we had a great Cornell experience. We stayed friends all 4 years. We lived together. And then after graduation, for the next 30 years, unfortunately, we never lived in the same city. Michelle went to New York. I moved around a bunch. But we stayed best friends, and one of our favorite things was always talking about our Cornell memories and our friends, and we kept our circle of friends together. And so all of a sudden, when COVID hit and Michelle and I were talking more by Zoom, Michelle said to me, can we find something to do together? We were both about to be empty nesters, our children were grown. What can we do together that's creative and fun?
Yeah. So I said to Steph, let's do a podcast, without having any idea what kind of podcast we would do. And Steph said, sure. I was like, oh God, now the pressure of what we're gonna do.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, but we realized that we love to talk about Cornell and we love to talk about our college experience, and we figured most people feel the same way. So we started the podcast called Cornell Thank You, and it started out really in the beginning as a way to entertain ourselves and our sorority sisters. And there are about 25 or 30 of us on a text list, and we speak many, many times a week. So we thought at a minimum we had 25 guests, and we can get through 25 weeks and see if anybody was interested in what we were doing. But by the 4th week, Steph said to me, I feel like we have got to branch out. We can't just have 50-year-old women telling their Cornell stories. That's going to get old quickly. And so
we branched out.
Yeah.
But we also had to figure out actually how to produce a podcast. So Michelle looked into it a little bit more, figured out all the software, and basically making a podcast is making a recording and then using editing software. We decided we did not have the guts to do it live.
Right.
No one wanted to hear us live,
Yeah.
except for today, and I apologize. So we decided we're going to record it, and then Michelle figured out how to edit it. And so this next slide just shows sort of what's involved in creating a tight, succinct podcast.
yeah,
Do you want to say?
because sometimes we might record as many as 60 minutes worth, but no one's going to tune into a 60-minute podcast. So we try to get it down. We take out the ums and the uhs and the flubs that either we or our guests make, and we eventually get it down to a story that's about 20 or 30 minutes, and we find that's really the sweet spot.
And then we had to figure out what were we going to talk about, and we decided that we did not want a scripted interview. First of all, there's 2 people interviewing one person, so there has to be a rhythm where we're not all talking over each other at the same time. So we decided we'll make it more conversational. We'll start off talking about our guests' Cornell experience, segue into the career, what they're doing now, and then we came up with this idea of a speed round, which you all are going to get to participate in at the end.
Yes.
And then we always end our podcast with the question, what are you most thankful for when you think back on your Cornell experience? Okay, so our guests. Oh, yeah, let me go back.
This was a real turning point for us. You could do the next
Yeah,
one.
okay.
This was a real turning point for us. We were featured in Cornellians magazine, and when we were, people started to reach out to us. So we went from cold emailing and cold calling and begging our friends to people reaching out to us and saying, either I'd like to be on, or I know somebody who would make a good guest. And that was really a moment for us. So we had one female entrepreneur who created a swimwear and cover-up company. Her name was Jamie Banks, and she was fabulous. And when we hung up the Zoom call with her, she said, you have got to meet Gwen Whiting, who is here today. And so there's Gwen. We interviewed Gwen, who has the most, you've got to go back and listen to this episode. She is charming and charismatic and fun, and her story is incredible. And Gwen introduced us to Zach Shulman. And without Zach and Gwen, we would not be here today. They invited us. we are smiling because this was one of our most fun podcasts, and we want to tell a little bit about why.
Yeah. So we interviewed Zach, and I guess we are wannabe entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
So we decided that we wanted to be part of the Ben Daniel Venture Challenge. So we came up with a bunch of ideas to pitch to Zach. And what did we say? Red light, green light?
Yeah, we said to him, can you red light or green light them? We want to be considered, knowing full well that, well, we thought they were all green lights, but Zach thought differently. And so we tried to come up with some things that we thought might resonate with the students.
Yeah, and be Cornell specific.
Cornell specific inventions. You go first.
All right, we're going to share 2 today. Okay. All right, this is the first one. So for those alum, do you remember the Ivy Room in the Strait? Okay. So the Ivy Room, Michelle and I used to hang out there all the time. It was lovely. Apparently the Ivy Room doesn't exist anymore. Now it's part of Oak Shields. So we want to bring back the Ivy Room, but we want to bring back a VIP section of the Ivy Room. Okay? So it's like what David Barton was talking about, like the velvet rope, champagne, a bougie atmosphere.
Maybe some caviar.
Some caviar.
Paparazzi.
Yeah, very entitled students. That didn't fly, Zach.
Zach,
That was a red light.
That was
a red light.
We weren't even finished pitching, and he red lighted that one. But then, our second idea was a winner. He gave it a hard green light. And that was, if anybody has been here in the winter, when you go up Live Slope, it is freezing, it is long. All the freshmen used to live down on West Campus when we were there, and it was a miserable experience carrying your books. And we thought, why not come up with a slope rope? And so this is basically a rope tow for students with their heavy backpacks and paraphernalia, and it will, picture this snowy, it will pull them up the hill, and depending on the budget that Zach might give us, we either have very strong people pulling you up or maybe some sort of mechanical operation.
Yeah, the details are being worked out.
Yeah.
But anyway, stay tuned. Next year's conference, you may see this in the
You might see
challenge.
it,
Yeah. So anyway, obviously we do try to do some fun stuff on our podcast just to keep it light, and with whatever our guests do for a living, we try to work with something that is in their career. So we've had now, after the news article and after we've sort of had more high profile guests, we've been able to attract more high profile guests. We've had CEOs, we've had lawyers, doctors, venture capitalists, we even had a cartoonist.
Yes.
We've had TV personalities, weathermen, and sportscasters, authors. I don't know, it's been really amazing.
And I would say equally fun has been the current students. We had seen, I don't know if he's here, Zach Cosmo was the drum major, and he was at the Columbia Cornell game, and I videotaped him, and I sent to Steph, I said, we're getting this guy, and I absolutely accosted him. And he came on, and we've had other students on campus, Kayla Singer, people from the Cornell Daily
see
Sun.
Kayla
Is
back
Kayla
there.
here? There's
Yes.
Kayla. Oh, try to meet Kayla before she's famous, get her autograph.
Yeah.
So she was great. We've just really had some very interesting people, and we found that people like to know that Cornell existed when they were here, but they also like and get excited about what Cornell looks like today. So that's been really exciting.
Yeah. And then we thought this audience would be interested. We've interviewed many entrepreneurs. This group of entrepreneurs actually happens to be all women, which is really incredible. But they're all women that had other careers and thought of a great idea and executed on the idea. And so we've been really proud to meet them and kind of talk about their products. And I think we've tried all of them.
Yes, we have. We've
Yeah.
tried every single one.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess to date we've had over 70 guests.
Yeah.
We've had probably 15,000 downloads. So we're creating excitement and moving ahead and really enjoying the people that we've been meeting.
Yeah. So what we thought we would do today, since we had such an esteemed guest among us, that we would interview Barry. I think Barry
He was out
went to get
for
lunch.
a second. Okay.
I
Yes.
just saw him a second.
Yeah, he popped his head in. He'll come back.
Tell Barry we're ready for him.
So normally when we do a podcast, it's not live like it'll be today. And normally we would go very extensively into somebody's career. We're not going to do that today with Barry because you all heard from him this morning, and we also want to get him on as a real guest, and we'll extrapolate. But for today,
Well, let's show you what Barry looks like.
Yeah.
There he is. Okay. Yeah. We have present day Barry.
Here he
and
is.
Night. Here he is. Hi.
Let's see. That mic is on?
Yeah.
Check 1, 2.
all right.
Present day Barry and 1990 Barry look very similar.
Yes.
That's impressive.
You do.
It's all the Bluemercury beauty products.
That's right. Yes. So Barry, Michelle was just saying we're going to do an abridged version of our interview because of our time constraints. So we'll hope maybe you'll come on our podcast.
Great.
But all right. So we graduated the same year, the three of us. So you must have graduated high school in '86. Take us back. Were you in Philadelphia?
I was in Philadelphia,
All right,
yes.
Take us back to Philadelphia, Barry, 1986. How did Cornell get on your radar screen, and how did you end up at Cornell?
There was a teachers' strike going on in the county where I lived, and I was very inspired by that, and I started to get involved with that, and working with the teachers, working with the union, and then somehow someone pointed me to the ILR school, which is the best school in the world for unions, the world at work, organizational behavior. I put it in an application. It's very different than it is today. I put it in a regular application, and I got a letter back, which was a very small letter. I thought it was a rejection letter, but it came back within about 3 or 4 weeks and said, if you're looking at other schools, please slow down that process. You're likely to be admitted. And I didn't know what that meant, and I went to my guidance counselor, and they said, oh, that's called a likely letter. That means if you continue through the process and stop looking at other schools, you'll be admitted, and the rest is history.
Wow. God,
Yeah, I didn't get that.
that's
letter.
rare. I
Did
didn't
you?
get that.
No, we didn't get that.
one. Just the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you it doesn't work that way anymore.
No.
All right, so, I mean, obviously, you look like a very cool person back then. What was your life like on campus? Were you in clubs? Were you in a fraternity? What was your-
I was in a fraternity. I was in Theta Delta Chi. We had a great time. I was very active socially. That was one of my favorite parts of Cornell. And yeah, so that was, did I say my fraternity name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully, are you guys going to edit that out or leave that in? 'Cause-
There's a lot to be
No, you
proud
should be
of.
Yeah.
proud. Yeah, they were actually, they're a good house.
Yeah, we socialized
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
And where did you live? Throughout your 4 years, you lived on,
West Campus as a freshman, then off campus my sophomore year, and then my last 2 years I just couldn't get away from my fraternity and lived in the house. The last 2 years it was so convenient to go downstairs and eat in the lower level and party in the middle level.
Did you ever live in College Town?
Never lived in College Town. I lived actually in Ithaca my sophomore year.
Really?
Yeah, with a bunch of friends.
With fraternity brothers?
Yeah, just friends, yeah.
Like you had a house? Yeah.
was there a moment when you were a student here where you thought, I see a future as an entrepreneur? Was there a class or a suggestion or anything that might have led you down that path?
So entrepreneurship's been something I've been thinking about since I was probably around 10, shoveling snow, landscaping, just doing everything even as a little boy. And I'll never forget, I walked into my den and there was my father, maybe right around 10 or 11 years old, and he said to me, I don't care what you do for a living, as long as it's yours and you own it. And I think that set me on a path, a lifelong path for starting companies, building bigger companies, picking up steam through high school, and then of course later in college. And then I started my first company, which eventually became a Fortune 500 company, in my dorm room as a junior.
Did you ever consider law school? A lot of ILRs go to law school. Or were you looking to use what you learned in the ILR school to deal with your employees in a future business?
You know, to this very day, I tell the cadre of lawyers, I'm a voracious consumer of legal services, and I tell all my lawyers, God, I'm so frustrated. I love the law. I wish I were a lawyer. And they said, no, you don't. You're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing and just hire. If you need a lawyer, hire a lawyer. So that's what I'm doing. Although I do love lawyers. My father's a lawyer. And again, I'm a voracious consumer of those types of services.
Yeah.
So normally in our podcast, this would be the point where we really delve deeply into your career. And we know we spoke a little bit about Bluemercury today, but could you tell us a little bit about Evenly? And also, I just ordered your whitening paste. It didn't get here yet.
Well, great.
Excited. Yeah.
So my new company, Evenly Technologies, is a new startup. It's growing very fast. We're following the mantra from Google and Amazon, which is triple, 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 double, double, which means that we are tripling our size every single year for our first 3 years. So that's growing great, and then we'll double, double, and then eventually probably take the company public. And so we've developed a technology and telemedicine platform that enables general dentists to do orthodontics in their practice. So what does that mean? So basically, 237 million people, large market, went to the dentist last year. but 80% of American counties don't even have an orthodontist. And so we found a platform, developed this platform that enables these dentists to do orthodontic treatments in their practice at the level of a specialist. We're getting better results than even a traditional orthodontist. And the company is growing very, very rapidly, and we have a huge runway for growth, and we're super excited.
Terrific. Yeah, we wish you the best of luck with that.
Yeah.
I mean, your track record is great, so I'm sure this will be another success.
Yes.
All right. So one thing we do, Barry, is we do our Cornell speed round. Okay. So the Cornell speed round is where we ask our guests quick questions about their favorites at Cornell. So we've got some current students in the audience, some alum in the audience. So we want to hear, again, take us back to 1990, Barry. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There's no wrong answer.
All right.
All right.
There probably are some wrong
Well,
answers.
maybe, actually, maybe that. Yeah, okay.
All right, so start out. Tell us, what was your favorite on-campus dining?
My favorite on-campus dining was then Oakenshields at the Student Union, but now it's Terrace here
Yes.
in the hotel.
Okay. What about off-campus dining? Like a big night out, where were you going?
My favorite place was the Nines for their famous deep dish pizza. Love that place. And I'm from Philadelphia, and so I'm a big pizza eater, in case you can't tell. And so, but they had a unique deep dish that I loved.
Yes. All right, favorite bar?
Favorite bar was obviously Rulof's Thursday night after studying. Right around 11:30, we would go out and have cocktails with friends.
We're big Rulof's fans too. Okay, Michelle and I are obsessed with Hot Truck. Anyone here who's a current student may not know, but back in the day, it was a thing.
Yeah.
Did you go, and what was your order?
Did I go? Let's see, about every single night. And of course, my order was the PMP,
Yes.
the poor man's pizza.
Yes.
2 giant pieces of French bread sandwiched around,
Yeah.
some sauce and some cheese.
Yes.
The greatest. You could still get it at Shortstop Deli. That's the only place now. What was your go-to drink when you went out?
Let's see, that's easy. Cheap beer.
Yeah.
Where did you study, Barry? What was your study?
2 options. I went to Olin
Yeah.
when I wanted to do serious studying and hide from my friends, and then sort of play or fake studying, I would go to the Bell Tower Library and meet with all my friends at Urus.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Take us back. What song was playing on the dance floor of your fraternity anywhere between 87 and 90?
That's easy. Truckin' by the Grateful Dead, who will be here on May 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the most exciting things going on at Cornell.
Yeah.
Probably since past 30 years that they're coming back here. Incredible. Yeah. Since May 8th, 1977. I will be here with my wife and my brother and my nephew.
Fabulous. Okay. All right. The other thing we've done on the podcast is sometimes we'll enter in a new question just for our own amusement, and we want to bring you in on it. Okay? So Michelle and I get peeved very easily.
Yeah.
So we have 30 years of built-up pet peeves. Every week we drop another one. Just random, do you have a pet peeve you want to share?
Yes, when I get served a chocolate sundae
Yeah.
and they don't put enough whipped cream on it.
Yes.
How's that?
That's a good one.
Yeah, the
That's
ratio.
cheesy.
The ratio is important.
Yeah.
There.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, here's mine for today.
Yeah. Let me
Okay.
hear yours.
Okay. I cannot stand it when a sticker is on so tight on a product that you buy. It's like
You can't get it off.
can't get it off. It's
Yes.
on there for all eternity. You're ruining your manicure. Can't they make a sticker that just on and off?
We need somebody in this room to
Yeah.
invent it. All right, that's a good one.
That's a good one. All right, what's yours?
Here's mine. I don't like it when people clap in a movie theater.
Really?
I don't like. Who's
Why?
it for? Who's it for?
Oh,
There's no
well.
director or producer in there. The actors aren't there, unless it's for the guy running the projector.
That's
Who's that
true.
for?
Yeah.
Right. I understand it
Yeah.
on an airplane, live theater.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
If Quentin Tarantino's in the theater, class.
Standing ovation.
If not,
Otherwise, shh.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now let's spin it.
Yeah,
Let's
let's spin it.
Tell us,
Okay.
what's the thing that can make your day?
That's easy. Time with my family.
Yes,
Right.
oh, that's a good one. I
Yeah.
had a much less exciting one.
Yeah.
I like when you get in the car and you turn on the radio and like this awesome song is on, but the beginning of the song. I hate it when I turn on and it's the last note and I'm like, oh, I just missed it.
Yeah.
Beginning of the song on the radio in the car.
I agree, because
Yeah.
there's Spotify, but that is not the same as
No.
hearing it spontaneously
Yes.
in your car.
Okay, what's yours?
All right, I have one. This is off-brand for me.
Oh.
This is really off-brand. and then I'm going to qualify it.
Okay.
I like the sound of birds chirping,
Really?
but I don't like it in the beginning of the spring because I do not like the tantruming and whining that happens when they're all picking their trees. I like them 2 to 3 weeks into spring when it's mellifluous tones of chirping.
Yes, so like a
Somewhere
May.
around May.
May.
May. Don't bring me in April. April, I feel like they're all fighting it out. In May, that's what makes my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want any
That's a
bird
good-
gangs.
Oh God, I
Okay.
want to hear birds.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
All right. Back on track. Okay. We had a chance to meet your beautiful family last night, and today you have 3 obviously very bright and amazing kids. We're curious your advice to a college student. I don't know if you gave Ariel advice when she went off to college, but what's your best advice for a college student?
That's another easy one.
Okay.
Right.
Follow your own road. Don't listen and follow the dogma of others. And don't ever let people drown out your intuition and your curiosity.
Good advice. Yeah, that was
That's good advice. Well, we always end our podcast the same way. We always ask our guests.
Am I too serious? I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's profound.
I'm having an introspective day.
Yeah, no, we need it.
You
We
should.
need it. I mean, after the bird chirping, we really needed to bring it back to the intellectual level. But tell us, we always end our podcast the same way. We always ask our guests, what are you most thankful for to Cornell?
Cornell is one of the most amazing, dynamic places in the world. We went last night with my family and randomly walked into a building on the engineering quad right around midnight. It was bustling. And we went downstairs, and there was a young boy painting USA on a rocket ship. And I asked him, I said, well, what are you doing? He said, we're building a rocket ship. We're going to send it 2 miles in the sky. And I said, well, where do you get rocket fuel from when you're a kid? He says, well, we go to the U.S. government, and they authorized us to do it. And then we kept meandering around, and we found a group of kids frantically and frenetically building a Formula One race car. Why? Because this morning at 6 a.m. they're going to go out to Watkins Glen, where the famous teams Mercedes-Benz and Ferrari are competing. Where in the world can you see that going on? For me, it's all about these types of activities going on at nationally ranked research universities. I'm so passionate about it. I love it. And where else but Cornell?
We agree. We agree.
So much. Nobody go away because we're
Yeah.
going to give you a little taste of the speed round, which is a very simple thing to do. It's a 5-question speed round, and we want to get the sense of this audience.
Yeah.
But this is for you. Don't leave.
Yes.
But that's for you.
Little
Thank
merch.
you for being here.
Little merch.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, don't leave us yet.
You guys can find us on any place that you listen to podcasts. We would love you to listen. You can find our Instagram is Cornell Thank You. We look at it hourly, daily, whatever it is. Reach out to us if you want to be on the podcast, if you have a good idea for the podcast. These are some of the posts that we have currently.
Yep.
And we would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
But do follow us because the more advice we can get from you guys, the more.
And DM us, and we
Yeah.
have a new podcast every Monday morning. You can find one.
Yes.
Okay, don't leave. Take out your phones and go to this website. We're going to try something. Michelle and I are not tech savvy, so
No.
hopefully this will work.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need an app. Just
yeah,
go to
you
that
don't need an
website.
app. You don't need to sign up. Go to menti.com, and we're going to do a live speed round. See what everyone's favorites are. Yeah, when I pull it up, it's going to give a code. Okay, let's try this. Okay, all right. So go to menti.com and enter the code 42374648.
It's up there.
Okay, is everyone in? Let's see. Okay. Favorite class? We gave you 4 choices. I'm sure you have another, but out of these 4, let's see what people like. All right, looks like wines is the big winner.
Yeah. Is everybody voting?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next question. All right, hot truck faithful or Louis' lunch lover? And by the way, Michelle and I are hitting both spots
Yes.
after this.
Shortstop Deli, and we've never been to Louis' Lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we're
so we're
going.
gonna check it out.
Yeah, but we're with you on hot truck. Okay. Favorite place to study? You've got the different libraries. Some people like to study at home. Look at that. All right.
Good.
Interesting. Yeah. On-campus dining. Oakenshields, Trillium, RPU. Oh, look at that.
Which one?
Noise. We didn't do
Oh, we
noise.
forgot noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trillium is the big one. Yeah, look at that. Okay, and the bar. So Roolof's and Johnny's are old classics. Michelle and I went to Level B
We
and
didn't make a
Hideaway.
dent.
First of all, we went too early. Apparently 10 o'clock, no one's out.
Nobody's out. And also that drink was mammoth. It was actually, it's called a fishbowl. It was in a fishbowl. We drank maybe an inch.
Yeah, we ordered one. It came with 6 straws, and we were
Yes.
like,
Oh,
ugh.
God.
So we, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But it was a fun place.
yeah,
And Hideaway, too.
Roolof's, we agree.
All right.
All right, and finally, what are you most thankful for from Cornell? The website gives you a chance to add in a few words, and it'll start to form a word collage as people enter in words.
And the biggest ones will be the things that are said most often.
Look at that.
It's called a word cloud. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Friends and people, I would even say that those are the same.
We actually
that
happen
really-
to feel the same way.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for playing, you guys. And
Woo!
please reach out to us. And Zach, thank you again. And Gwen and Barry.
Yes, we're
thank
very
you so
thankful
much.
for
It was
you.
great
Thank
to
you for
meet
coming.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.